another episode of First Shorts, where we sit with creatives in the entertainment industry and talk about their experience making their first short film. I'm Shako Amari, and our guest today is Edan Cohen. Edan Cohen is a Philadelphia-based filmmaker with 20 plus years of experience directing and editing commercials, music videos, and short films. He has worked with national brands such as Corsica, Public Storage, and West Elm. He is currently in development on a feature film called The Bronze Age. We're thrilled to have him. Please welcome Edan.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for joining us. So we're here to discuss your this short film. If you could just give us a little bit while I set it up about what we're about to see and just a synopsis on it.
Great. So yeah, this is a short film that was written by a great friend of mine named Matthew Derby, and we had gotten together probably about a year and a half before we shot this, or a year before, and we were like, let's make a project. And we had three ideas. One of them was sort of like inspired by like a Japanese film called Onibaba, which we ended up choosing. And sort of, if you watch that film, you'll see some similarities here. But we, of course, updated it, put it in the future, changed like the sort of like engine of the film. A lot of the basic elements are the same because we thought that's such an awesome film, and we'd love to try something like that. So that's sort of how this was born.
Yeah, I mean, pardon is my next question is what drew you to this project? What drew you to that film to make this one? What about that story made you want to tell this?
Yeah, sure. Well, because first of all, there was a limited amount of characters in that film, which always helped when you're trying to make a short film. We were also just fascinated by like how badass the female characters were in that film, which is something, you're seeing it more and more now, but like normally when we were growing up, it was always like the guy was like kicking ass. In that film, which was made in the 60s, it was kind of revolutionary for having like those kind of protagonists who were just like, no compromise badasses. So we kind of wanted to explore that as well in this film. And also, we're sci-fi geeks, so we also wanted to do something like, sort of dystopian. I think that's like the dream of a lot of people who grew up watching films in my time. So that's how we sort of merged those two ideas together.
Yeah, and was this looking at the quality, was this your first short like that you directed?
Yeah, I'd made little things before that I wouldn't necessarily really call like a short film. This is my first like, hey, let me try something like, soup to nuts. Like, let me see if I can make like a film that feels like something I'd see in the theater. Everything else I did before I felt was like, more of like experiments or little things, but it was never something I'd be like, okay, this is my first short film. So that's
because this looks good. I mean, the landscapes, the cinematography, like right away, this feels like a world. That's like
there is a big background to that. I mean, if you want it, I can tell you.
Yeah.
But so we had this idea, and one thing you have to know, like Matt and I met like first week of college, and we were like, let's make a film, and that was back in like 1991. So obviously we are like master procrastinators, and it's only been, I don't know, like 30 years later, and we're like, let's make that movie we talked about. So if it wasn't for the Montana Film Office, we probably would not have made this film either, because I collect like locations I find. Like I'll see a cool location, like, oh man, I'd like to shoot there one day. And I had found this place years ago and just sort of bookmarked it. And then when we had this script idea, I was like, oh, I'll call the Montana Film Office and I'll see if this place is available. And thinking that there's going to be like, you guys insane, click. And then we'd be like, let's just procrastinate for another 10 years. But instead, not only were they very excited that we called about shooting at this location, which I'll tell you about in a second, but also the guy that we spoke to, like the most wonderful person in the world, had written his like thesis about the film that this is based on. So it was a crazy like coincidences, like the universe saying this film's going to happen. So they were very excited because no one shoots in this part of the state. This is Northeast Montana, which is essentially like empty. Like it's completely, there's like not many people there. And it's just littered with ruins, these incredible ruins, like all over the state. The biggest one being this army base of where we shot, which once had like 10,000 people. Got that. We got to get an entire town to shoot in. They were so excited that we were, going to go out there and like put money in that part of the state. that they actually like flew us out to location scout. So all of a sudden we were like, what's happening right now? Like, this is crazy. Like from like a Zoom call, like we were on a plane and they found us a fixer and everything out there.
That's amazing.
It all went so fast, way faster than we would have done it.
Yeah.
We were like, let's just sit on this for 2 more years. But yeah, so this is a whole town. This is a whole army base. All this stuff you're seeing here, just abandoned on the prairie. It's a school, 2 schools, a movie theater, bowling alley, church, stores. And they were like, "Where do you want to shoot? Grass up to your through it. This is a front of a hospital, it's like a big hospital, and you'll see later on. There's like even like the stirrups from like the OBGYN. They're still there. Like all the operating tables are there with like it is freaky and hell.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna ask because I did notice like the set design, and I was really wondering like, was this a lot of stuff you put in, or was this already there? That is fascinating.
And we were like action, like Mother Nature took care of all the set design for us. It was wild, like how we're just like the inside of this, like when she goes inside this place and meets with the guy, we did a little bit of set design. We just walked around the shopping cart and like picked up trash from different parts of the place and brought it in. But all this is how it looks. It's incredible. It's just so cinematic.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Like I absolutely loved all of this. And that was what I was very curious about, like how you got this location and what that was. So it's interesting. It's like a whole town. Again,
I think
beautifully.
it would have been free, but the ambulance, there's like an ambulance barn. We don't show it in here. And that had electricity. It's the only place with electricity. And we ended up renting that from like, everyone owns like a little building in this. It's like a very strange ownership structure. So we just rented it for like, I don't know, $800 because we went batteries. Otherwise, there's no electricity there and no plumbing. So we had to bring in like porta potties and stuff.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
That was one of my questions as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I have several questions. My first is gonna be so after 10 years of procrastinating, you get this place. How long did it take to make?
We put this thing together fast. I mean, we location scouted it in April and we shot in September. So it was really fast. So the one thing I'm was going to get to, and I'll tell you now, is that they were very excited for this project, and Montana has what they call the Big Sky Grant. It's like a film grant, and they they were very insistent that we apply for it, and we ended up getting $15,000 from the Montana government because what we were doing was like very high up on their list. We're shooting in like a rural area outside of the center. Like there was a bunch of like requirements, and we hit them all. So, but because we got that grant, we had to make the movie. You know what I mean? Like in a certain amount of time. And then if you shoot past like October, you're screwed there because it's like so cold and the storms come in. We shot it in 4 days. This whole thing, and then a weekend in Philly.
And seeing how you got $15,000 in grant, like what was the budget for this? Because this looks like there's props and you guys traveled.
Yeah, well, again, I should say that so Matt, the writer, is a multi-talented human being. So he didn't just write the film; he also created a bunch of these props. He also created all the weapons in the film. So all that stuff like Matt made. Then our friend Steven, who's a really good friend of Matt, he like just created all the costumes for free because he's like he's like a I don't know what he does, but he's doing a lot of tailoring and stuff. So we got a lot of stuff. Like, look, I'm 50 years old. We have like a great network of like artistic friends who are creative, and we don't get to do this all the time. So everyone's like, I just want to work on this. So there's a lot of that energy. Like Steven flew himself out there because what else are you gonna do?
That was
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It was a decent budget, but it was nowhere near what it should have been based on like how the production design went into it. Just like Matt did the music, for example, as well. So
okay.
yeah,
I wear multiple hats.
yeah, and then also like being out in Montana, the locals were super excited that we were doing this. So like we had like guys would show up with like trucks, and trailers, and tools, and just be like, whatever you need, man. So So yeah, we definitely got a lot of like local help too. The people were super happy.
How big was the crew?
The crew was probably like 10 people, and most of them were from Montana. That's part of the grant. We had to hire local people. But they had, to give you an idea how big Montana is, they had to drive like 10 to 12 hours to get to this place within Montana. So, and they were all like, where are we? Like when they got there.
They didn't even know.
Yeah. And honestly, man, like that's what killed us on the budget. Airbnbs and paying gas, like travel. And
Okay.
also, like, we had the flying makeup artist in from LA because like we had one in Montana. Then she had to bail pretty close to the shoot, so we found someone in LA. And just to get to this place, you got to take like a normal plane to Billings and jump on like essentially like a van with wings flies you to this place. It's like an hour and minute flight. So all that kind of stuff really killed us. You know, wish we could have put more of that on the screen.
Okay. No, that's really interesting to know because I was very, again, with the costumes choosing, dystopian era, I was like, okay, I was wondering how much of that. So it's cool to know that your friend, came in and did it because the costumes are great. Like they're amazing. Finding all those things.
He's incredible. Like,
I also love
shout him out.
the older woman, the lead here.
Mhm.
I feel like she was great from beginning to end. Did you do like casting and auditioning for this? Did you fly them out?
Yeah, so she's in Los Angeles, by the way, and I highly, 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 highly recommend her. She is badass from beginning to and she was our first choice. Like from her self tape, we were like, oh my god, like this is who everyone has to beat, and no one beat her. So we did like a casting in New York, and then we flew out to LA and met like did 2 days in LA, and it's funny because she's so awesome, and we were joking about it afterwards. Like she was like, I was so nervous because when she came in, she's also a boxer. When she came into when she came in, she was like, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm scared of her. And she told me that she did like 100 push-ups in like the room before she came in. She was like, I have to burn off energy. And so when she came in, she was like super like jacked, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm like terrified of her. But that's exactly how I want to be with her. But then of course she turned out to be just like the sweetest, most awesome person. And she will give you her all. Like she was just fantastic. All of us, me and these three actors here, we all camped out at St. Marie. Everyone else, we just camped out because we didn't want to like shower. They really wanted to stay in character. We were all that first night though. We were like, it's kind of a bad idea to camp out here, but we couldn't go back because we had no room. But we were like, I was like, damn, I didn't know like it could get that dark. I was like,
I was about to ask that, especially in like this scene here as the sun is like setting. And I was thinking about that because I grew up in Houston, but if you go out to like the middle of Texas, it was like the first time I realized when it got dark. So I was really like, okay, I was very curious as to, yeah.
It was that dark, and there were like animals. And then the fact that it's the prairie, every shot you can see the wind blowing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, and I'm like, man, this was not the smartest video we've ever made.
Well, since it does get that dark, what were you shooting on? Did you have like your lighting set up?
Yeah. So aside from the shot with the the interior, everything else is natural light. Like we didn't. Yeah. So um, this was shot very close to where they shot Days of Heaven. So we just like religiously watched that, and we are like, that's the look we want. And I remember reading that like Esther Almendros was like, I don't want any lighting outside. So you get like an hour and a half of magic hour because it's so flat and you're so high up. So I rehearsed with the actors a lot beforehand because they were both in New York, and I rehearsed them a lot. So I knew I wanted to get this scene in like 2 takes before the sun came up, and we kind of had it all set. This so we did 2 takes of this, and then we like, we're done. We can't shoot any more of this. We just knew exactly where the sun was going to be at what time every single day. Like I went out a few days early and just finished doing like sun studies with the DP, and I'm like, all right, we got to be here. We got to be here. We can shoot this scene here because that's we wanted as much as possible to move fast and just get that beautiful Montana. And it is the sun there is gorgeous.
Oh man, it's beautiful. I'm biased, so I love natural light.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, just give me like a reflector or a mirror, and I'm good to go.
Yeah, I'm a little bit more with the J.J. Abrams sun flares, the lens flares. I love
We got
that
them in
part.
here. We got the anamorphic flares in here for it.
Okay, so what were some of the biggest challenges then of the shoot?
I'd say obviously no electricity, no plumbing. The fact that there was no like infrastructure out there for like everything you're used to. Like, oh, we're just gonna run the Target and grab it. The nearest Target's like 4 hours away. Walmart's 4 hours. You are like in the middle of nowhere. In fact, take Poole in the middle of nowhere. I think the town where we were based, Glasgow, like they call it the middle of nowhere in the lower 48 from like big box retail and anything like that and highways and stuff. You really had to like we had to think everything through before we got there because we knew that there was a supermarket and like a Dairy Queen, but like there was not much else that you could kind of do when you're there. So those are huge challenges. Again, I'm sure we've all done this. We're like, oh my god, I'm going to run to Best Buy real quick and get this thing. Like none of that.
I need batteries.
Yeah. In fact, we had the funniest thing is I had something come in from FedEx, like kind of shipped out there. The packaging thing, like, God, who do I talk to? And it was like the woman who runs the coffee shop also knows the guy from. So I had to go to like Linda because I was like, who am I talking to? He's like, oh, Linda. I'm like, the coffee shop woman. He's like, yeah. When she called up, she's like, hey, Jim, it's Linda. And she's like, where's this package? He's like, oh, it's still stuck here, but I'll pick it up and drop it on. And I was like, this is like Northern Exposure or something. It was so fun.
That's awesome. It's like small town vibe kind of thing.
Yeah. You see the sun just starting to come up over his shoulder. So that was cool. Yeah. This team, we had to reshoot like 2 or 3 times. It just never felt right. So luckily we were able to get like, it was always dark in the morning, always the same lights. So we were able to like kind of go back and get it 2 or 3 times. And these are all like diopters on the anamorphic.
That was that scene that you were just talking about in part 2 there with the merry-go-round. I really liked the conversation that they were having about military orders and religious doctrine and addiction and things like that. But was that something that you were trying to bring through in this? Just go on more of like the writing aspect of the movie and like the arc of the characters.
Yeah, we were trying to build the world a little bit. People understood what the trackers were. So there is a feature version of the script that maybe one day we'll get from. So it really expands the world out more like that. But we were trying to get across the fact that like a couple things. So Matt's like true, like, kind of like number one is like, does a computer know what happiness is like for a human? And number two, like what happens if you get the thing that you really want? So that tracker gives people like it was like a drug, right? So you would do anything for that thing, and then like in the I don't know if I give it away, but like you see what happens to Warhead. She gets the thing she wants, but it's like
Right.
you're sort of like in Groundhog Day for the rest of your life, or whatever it is. So that's what we're kind of playing with. So it's this idea of like gratification, and what does that mean, or do you choose free will and sort of still have some power over your life? So that scene is showing how like that's how the AI controls these people. Like, oh, by the way, Matt made that sign. Everyone thinks it was there, like on the fence. But, like, Matt made it, aged it, everything.
Oh wow,
that's brilliant. I was actually going to ask about that too because I was like, it's just awesome that was happened to be there.
And dude,
good job.
It's crazy. Like we were trying to find where we could shoot this scene, and then we were just driving in the middle of nowhere to go find like the final, the last shot. We're trying to find that, and then I was like, what's that fence? Just dude, this is so in the middle of nowhere. I can't explain it. And he's like, oh, they're going to build an oil pipeline through here. And then it never happened. I was like, can we just go to that fence?
Just jumped out and shot there?
Yeah, dude, this fence goes like a mile in either direction. So, but we could jump out and shoot there because there's no one there. There's no people anywhere. So we were just like, yeah, let's just shoot at the fence. So this was a giant radar in the Cold War. There was a massive like ball on top of it, right? Because Canada is like 5 minutes away from this. There's like nuclear missile silos all around here and stuff too.
This is awesome.
It's wild. So yeah, now there's just this like structure that was once a radar, and we were like, we want to shoot there. Yeah, so this is where she's trying to. This is the monument he's been telling him about. So this is like where the AI was on the base.
Okay, and to get her back to her missing son. So I have a question because I love all of these. These sets and the practicality of it. But at the beginning, we had like the tank, and then I noticed like sometimes when they're walking, there's smoke in the back. background. So I'm assuming that you had special effects that you added to this as well.
Yes.
Was it? Yeah, go ahead, please.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What was the question?
So I was just kind of curious as like what you used for that, especially like that whole tank scene, with all the new stuff coming out in Hollywood. Like
So
what?
yeah, so the tank scene was, believe it or not, that was shot like 10 minutes from my house here in like Philly.
Okay.
There's like a place called Pennypack Trust, and it's like this very strange, like it's like a preserved area of land, right? And it feels very much like the background of this scene here, Montana. It's like tall grass, and I was like, because we didn't bring Nike to Montana, we had him come to Philly. I was like, I gotta find a place like Montana for that scene, and I was like, oh my god, this will work perfectly. I found this like angle that could kind of work. We shot it, and then we had two different VFX people on the film. My friend David did like the device, and then we had another like a Ukrainian team called Rebel Monkey, and they did like the tank and all the smoke in the background of the shots.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, we found like some models on like Turbo Squid, and we're like, we like this, and then they like adjust it and do all the texturing and everything, and they worked really fast, and they just did a really great job. And then David really like, I thought was just killed it with that tracker,
Yeah.
and yeah, because like when we were filming it, it was just like a ping pong ball or something, and then I did have that moment where I was like, oh my god, this doesn't work. Like, what are we gonna do? This is ridiculous.
I mean, great. I love this shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, our Days of Heaven shot.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Again, we lucked out. Like the sunsets up there are insanity.
Yeah. And were you just were you handheld and just running with them?
That was we had a gimbal. We had a gimbal on like a long pole, like mounted in the middle, and two guys were running with the gimbal. And then this is Montana, and then we switched to this is Philly. This is the big switch over right here. This is Philadelphia here. Yeah, is where
that's nice.
Yeah, because he wasn't in Montana. So this is all shot in Philly. So we had to like have a makeup artist match the makeup of the woman that did it in Montana. I think it worked out.
It did. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have known.
Yeah, this is the movie magic that I love because that match was great. And
of course, I'm like, crapping myself, like, oh, please work. Oh my god. And like, we made sure to shot that at like 5 a.m, so it kind of feel like dusk and everything.
Yeah.
So you're saying you had pretty?
Yeah, it was pretty fast actually. I edited the film, and then obviously VFX took the longest. If there was no VFX in this film, it would have been done much faster. But that's sort of like the waiting. And then there was a music part. Matt came down, and we kind of timed out the music and everything. And then I think he came down one more time, and we're like, this weekend we're gonna be done. He came back with like all the music, and we kind of put it all in. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, I would say it was like a very fast process. I hear about these things where like people are like, "Oh, it's been 2.5 years and we're still waiting for the film." And I'm like, really? Like, that's crazy to me. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like a 15-minute film. I don't have the patience for that, man. I'm 50 years old. I need this film to be done so I can maybe make another one. Can't wait. But yeah, sometimes I remember my daughter acted like a film, and it took like almost a year and a half. It was like a 15-minute, and I went to see it, and I was like, no offense, dude, but what took like a year and a half? 3 scenes. You know what I mean? Like, there was almost like no special effects. It was like 3 scenes. I'm like, what? I could have put this together in a month, man. So,
as an actor, I've been in some of those as well, where it's like 2 years later, you're like, I look completely different.
I did like location countdown, and I'm like, where is that film? Like, I don't understand. It's pretty funny. This guy, Michael, by the way, Red Bull, he started a theater company in New York, and they just had some like incredible premiere of like a Chekhov play that he directed, like getting huge reviews in like the New York Times and everything. So he's like an actor's actor for sure. Yeah. What a funny story about him real fast. He actually flew out with me early, and then he went to he just like they dropped him off in the wilderness for like 5 days because he wanted to get into character. We like a tent, gave him some food, and we're like, I hope I see you in 5 days. I don't know. He asked to do that. He asked for it. So
yeah. Actor's actor.
Yeah.
Real hard.
He's method man.
Yep. We just saw that stab motion. I just had a question about some of the stunts and the killing. Did you have like a stunt choreographer as part of that, or was that just okay? You
Just
guys
collapsible blades.
Yeah, collapsible blades, and again, these are all stuff we made. So Stephanie, I have a friend named Stephanie who is a fight coordinator, like she worked with like Michael Jai White and like kind of big name. So I wanted her to be. We wanted to have more like combat. Just kind of where she goes into the matrix.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually wouldn't mind being in this world. I was like, where's my tracker?
Right. To just live your best life.
This is crazy. This is actually down the street from where I live. This is a place called Linwood Hall. And this was the second largest home ever built in America. It was like a Gilded Age mansion built by Charles Widener, who like all his family died in the Titanic because he owned the White Star Line and all this stuff. And it had been sitting empty and was like a big urban explorer place. People would break in. This place is insanity. You got to look it up online. And they had just started like renovating it. Like a nonprofit is like trying to bring it back to life. Probably about 6 months before we shot here. And I was like, please, I'm like begging you guys to make shooting here. So we were trying to go for like that 2001 vibe, like when he goes into the.
Yeah.
So they let us come in and shoot for a couple hours. So we quickly put this together. And my production designer, she's amazing.
Is this your actual drone footage too here?
Nope. This is stock. I tried to find one that like felt like the world.
Yeah.
And this Grand Canyon, it was like someone's backyard that our fixer made. He's like, oh yeah, I know where you get a Grand Canyon. We're up at mom's place. It's like a cattle farmer. He's like, jump on my quad. He's like, here you go. Here it is.
That's amazing.
There's like you can't see it here, but there was like a triceratops that was just like hanging out like half of them. He's like, you guys can dig it up and take it if you want. I was like, what? Like, I don't understand what you're saying. Yeah, it was wild, man. Because all this used to be an ocean, apparently, like a primordial ocean. This was all the ocean.
Makes sense.
Yes. It was incredible. We saw like he showed us coal lines, you name it. Yeah, I would say the adventure of making it was just as fun as actually actually making the film.
I mean, it sounds like it was a wild location out there in Montana, just like this desolate town.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the town is called St. Marie. That's like the ghost town. And they have about 100 people that live there, like own homes there. And we had like no interaction with them at all. Maybe a good thing, I don't know. And then there was a town called Glasgow, which is about 20 minutes away. And that's kind of like the civilization where the Airbnbs were, supermarket and stuff like that. So we're between those two towns. There were like a couple other towns that we went to, like the school in the beginning and everything. But yeah, mostly we're in St. Marie and staying in, Glasgow. Awesome people in Glasgow. Yeah, these are all locations. Yeah. Again, we had the locals, so we would shoot. We planned the whole thing out where it's like, this day we're here, then we drive for an hour and spend a day at that. So there were two locations kind of close to each other, but they're different town names. So we tried to like list all the town names too, It was fun. One thing I will say, one thing I learned on this film was that there are grants. State governments want to give out grants. Like they want people to shoot there. And if you can find a way if you understand what they want to do, then you'll get money to make this film. And I didn't know that going in, but then I understood that like, oh, everybody comes to Montana and they want to shoot in Yellowstone, right? It's like there's dozens of these projects, but no one's coming to Montana and wanting to shoot in the most desolate part of the state. Like no one's doing it. So they were very excited. So all of a sudden, if you come and you like say to them, like, you have to understand, like, they want to spread the money around. It's just like they need filmmakers who want to like
take advantage of
it, right? But if you're making like a Western or whatever, you want to shoot at Yellowstone since all the mountains are there and all of this is there. And we were shooting in a place without the mountains and all that kind of stuff. I thought it was still beautiful, but like it's not what Montana is known for, right? Like a river runs through it is more like Montana. So I would say like filmmakers, anyone watching this, if you can think of some story that's like, hey, I can tell my story, but I can shoot it in like West Virginia and in this part of the state, we might have a good chance of getting a grant, because then they'll be like, oh, cool. On this PDF that we submit in December, we can say we put $90,000 into this part of the state that people don't normally go to. So we got to think strategically that way. That's why my next rom-com is going to be in Gary, Indiana. No, I'm joking. Meet me in Gary. But yeah, but I mean, it's just like thinking strategically like that, of like where, like how can I understand what they want and fit my story into it, if it's possible. I think that's something that like I never thought about, and most filmmakers don't think about. They're like, it's going to be in New York or LA, and you're like, yeah, but everybody wants to be in New York and LA. It makes, get it, I do too, but it's like you're not getting a grant for that because there's a million people lined up. But if you go and say, hey, I'm going to shoot this in this part of the state that normally people don't go to, all of a sudden it's like, oh, cool. Well, we can say on a form that we're spreading the money around. So yeah, that's a tidbit I learned, and I think it's interesting.
No, that's good.
So it's time to go to Idaho.
All right.
Bring me along, please.
Well, you also said your next rom-com. I know that was a joke, but what do you have next? Is there a feature for this?
Yeah. Well, I wish this would be way too expensive for anything I could probably raise. We'd have to have someone see it and like really be interested in the story and say like, yeah, I'll fund this, or I'm not that well versed on the business side of filmmaking, which is like probably like the biggest secret of filmmaking and how to like get films made. So I'm still trying to learn about that. So since I don't know about that, the feature I'm trying to put together, I'm going to shoot in Philly, sleep in my bed every night, have a shower, and use like all the resources I have here available to me, friends of mine and everything. So, and then it's not sci-fi, it's just a drama, something I'm writing with my daughter. And it's, it's about a father and a daughter. And it's like all based around music. So I used to have a recording studio back in the day, recorded a bunch of bands from like 1999 to 2005. I still have a bunch of friends who are in the music scene in Philly. And I'm like, so I was like, this is a good way to like world build with something that I have available to me. That's, something like, it's almost like that town in Montana. It's like, if you don't have a lot of money to make a film, find one really cool thing about, about the film and like make that the big thing. So we had the location for this one. It's going to be like the music, like sort of world building around the music, just because I know that I can create like a really great soundtrack, and just from the people I have here. So that's like sort of like and also I know the city so well that I know different places to shoot here. So, but yeah, it's a small, very like small film, but I hope, but even still, that's, it's proving difficult.
Yes.
It's hard. It's hard.
Yeah.
But one thing I always care about the most is just like the casting and the script, I think, especially at this level, is just trying to get the best people involved that you can, who will work at the rate that you have. And I find that honestly, most actors want to work for great scripts,
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. 100%.
Are you currently at the casting stage right now in that project?
Yeah. So I have the three leads cast. They're already cast, and now we're starting to branch out and find the other roles. But yeah, we definitely, and it was a way smaller casting, and I didn't go to LA, or like try to keep it very local, because this one I'm trying to like fix all the mistakes I made on the first one, like making it too big. Just want to keep it so small. But you got to make those mistakes, right? Otherwise you kick yourself, and then you're like, all right, let me not make it again. So yeah, so this one I'm trying to keep it just like New York, Philly, DC. So we could do rehearsal. We could just I can pay a train ticket or a bus ticket and get people here. So yeah, so we found them there. And I mean, and we're spoiled to have like New York here. It would suck if we didn't. We had to pull from like Idaho only, I mean, LA or New York, and you're spoiled, right? You've got access.
Yeah. You just skip over New Jersey right there in the middle of the tri-state. No.
That's right, because you're from New Jersey. I forgot.
Yeah, I was there for 10 years.
I'm trying to think, do we have any Jersey people in this film? I mean, I'm from Jersey originally. I grew up in Jersey, but we'll probably have a few Jersey people working. It's so close, you can't avoid it.
Yeah, the first thing you sent me, I sent you the email. I was like, tri-state,
Yeah.
Right. Action News.
No, this is really cool, and I love that you're writing it with your daughter. I think every time I talk as a new dad, and I'm really biased, that sounds really cool.
You almost can't avoid it, if, like when you do what we do, sooner or later, like they're like, oh, this is kind of cool, and like even if they don't want to do it, they still have good ideas, and it's great to draw it out of them. And it doesn't have to be like what they do for a living, but they still have an experience that I can't write like an 18-year-old Gen Z, you know. It's great. Like I'll write stuff and then go to her. She's like,
Can only
"Man, I don't
imagine.
want to say that anymore. Bee's knees. Are you out of your mind?" That's what it sounds like to her.
Yeah.
The bee's knees.
Yeah,
When did I get old? This is so sad.
I know, man. I know. It's like, I swear I was 20 like just yesterday, but apparently not.
I remember I was teaching it was like a nonprofit where you go into high schools and you teach kids filmmaking. I think I was like 28 years old or 29. And I said something about like Nevermind, like the Nirvana album. And they were like, "Oh, yeah, that's like old people music." And I was like, "No, what are you talking about? That just came out like 6 months ago." And I was like, "Oh my God, it's 2003 right now." Yeah, I guess it hit me. I was like, "Oh."
No, it's really cool. We're gonna look out for that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, let's keep in touch.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere do you have like socials or YouTube we can check you out?
Yeah, socials is just my name, EDANCOHEN at Edan Cohen. Sounds funny to say. I'm really bad with socials. Like, so I have like a YouTube channel, but it's like, okay. I wasn't sure if you guys were like, "You're horrible." I know every time I'm like, yeah, I could probably be doing more, but it's like, I
Yeah.
don't know.
It's okay. You're in a cool space with us because we're all the same.
I just want to see your stuff. Look at mine. We'll have fun. I do more photography on there than anything.
I mean, it really showed through the film, man. The cinematography was beautiful.
Yeah.
I got to shout out Dave, who shot the film. Dave Huntley. He's a DP. Lives a few minutes away from me. He's moving to Germany in September, but yeah, he's like an old school DP. I went to school in Rochester, and he was up there at the same time. He's a few years older than me, and back then he would shoot all of Kodak's test film. Back when
Wow.
Kodak. But do you guys remember Kodak? It was a company that existed. So yeah, when I went to college, I had like 30,000 employees. I was in Rochester, New York, and now it's like they just make like photocopiers, and it's like so bizarre. But so
Yeah.
back then, like Dave would shoot like all the test film. He was like on the team that did that, so it was cool. He's like walks around light meters still and does everything, and I'm like, oh,
That's amazing.
yeah,
That's amazing. Yeah.
So, yeah,
I'd like to shoot on film one day, but I know
Yep.
that's expensive. No, I know. Mhm.
I don't have personal socials, but where can they follow you, Shaka?
Yes, the same thing. Shaka Omari, at Shaka Omari and IG. I don't post a lot, but you can follow me. Again, if you have any films or things like that that you've done and you want us to take a look at, feel free to send it. We'll also have the links below for Edan for anything it is that he has. With this particular film, is this film like now out to the public, or is it going to be going through festivals? Where could people see this one?
Currently in the festival run, and when it's done, we're going to make it public. Because I don't know what else you kind of do with short films aside from that, sort of as it's run and then you put it public. And it's also, we did it as an exercise too. It's like something we wanted to do. We've always wanted to do since 1991. And we did it. And I should also say that Matt is he's a professional scriptwriter. So like if you check out Matthew Derby, he's written novels, screenplays. He did Gone in the Night with Winona Ryder and German. So Matt's super talented. He's written a bunch of podcasts, like really big, like Audible produced podcasts with like huge names. So it's amazing to see how Matt's career developed too on the writing side. Like he's just ridiculously talented. So you should check out Matthew Derby as well, because he's always doing big stuff. So I just have to shout out Matt as well. So
91 to now.
Can you believe it? That's the year Nevermind came out. The golden oldies of Nirvana. So yeah, I know. I'm kind of embarrassed that it took that long. It is what it is.
No, I also just love it. It's like you never stop. That's kind of what inspired this. So I love that you both made this. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I feel like there's this like thing that I can't, like, if I could get rid of it, I would, but I can't. And it's like, you just got to create, you know, you got to create. It's almost like after this was done, I'm like, that's it. I'm never making another film again. And then of course now I'm like, oh, I'm trying to put this feature together. What's wrong with me? Oh, but when you have it, you have it. Like I have friends who have it too. It's like, oh my God, what's wrong with, we should have a support group, you know, for this thing.
Yeah. That's what we always joke about. It's like it's such a strange relationship because it's like, oh, I want to do this thing. Oh my gosh, it's crazy. Kind of like in the Wolf of Wall Street, you know, where they're on the boat, they're like dancing. And then 5 minutes later, they're like, what is going on in the hurricane? And then you get back and you're like, oh man, that wasn't too bad. Let's do it again. You know,
Yeah.
it's just like,
That's a perfect way of putting it. When you come back, you're sort of like exhausted and you're like, oh my God, how did I go through that? And then you're like, you know, a month or two go by and you're like, you know, that actually was kind of fun. I kind of like it. And you're back at it.
yep. I love that.
Thank you for coming on, and we'll, like you said, we'll stay in touch.
Yeah.
And we'll see you next time.
And I'm gonna go check you guys out on social right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you.